This is Snorlax318.
And this is Dark Harvest Studios.
And today we're going to review Pokemon Rumble from the WiiWare store.
The story is pretty basic from what most people can assume. You start up with a wind-up Rattata, and by the way, all the Pokemon in this game are actually wind-up toys. But anyway, you start out with a wind-up Rattata, you enter a tournament by slipping through the gates, which were slightly open, and you lose. But there are some people I know who've gotten through the game, but still suppose they lose. But other than that, after you've done that, you enter many realms through different grades by fighting Pokemon in a totally different fashion than normal Pokemon games. And once you've captured more Pokemon, traded them in, selected tickets, and bought them through coins, you will finally get to the rank of every generation, and you can fight the tournaments. And then pretty much you become the you try to become the champion of Pokemon. Period.
At the end of each level, there's a boss Pokemon that turns gigantic, and you have to defeat them. But if you're lucky enough, you might be able to play as them.
The game can also support 1 to 2 to 4 player combat in the game, which can really help for when you're fighting. But the problem is, like Monster Hunter games, you only have 3 lives. So if 3 of your players die, then all the team dies.
Exactly. Now let's talk about the graphics. The graphics of the Pokemon are from Pokemon Ranch, another WiiWare game.
Which looks very polygonish in a way. Okay, so another thing about the graphics is that they're very clean and cut, but they don't have details like scratches or scales. The only type of detail they had was what they had from the cartoon or the video games of the past saga.
The Pokemon in the game do have their cries from the handheld games.
It would have been really annoying if they said their names. I mean, could you imagine going in one of the forests with a swarm Pikachu?
Now for the controls. For this game, you have to hold the Wii Remote sideways, and you have to move your Pokemon with the control pad.
To attack, you have to press 1 and 2. 1 is your primary attack, and 2 is obviously your special attack. And another button, if you press plus, that's where you can pause, either pause the battle, which you can't do in the actual game when you're fighting, but you can pause the game and switch out the Pokemon you have. You can keep them all if you're dumb, but if you don't want to waste your money, you can obviously sell your Pokemon by their worth.
Yeah, if you have weak Pokemon, you can sell them. It's an easy way to get Pokemon from the machine. Now that we're done about the controls, let's talk about replayability.
The game has tons of replayability as it comes.
Once you beat the game, you can access a new mode where you can obtain 4th generation Pokemon.
Which is very nice, but that's also another flaw in the game with the fact that you automatically skip some of the best Pokemon of the era. There's also a special option in the game called Wii Remote Transfer, in which you can get a player's Wii Remote who also plays Pokemon Rumble on their Wii, bring it over to their friend's house who plays Pokemon Rumble, and bring those Pokemon back so you can either play online with them, or you can trade them, or sell them to your friend if they ever need an extra buck.
Okay, since we're done with that, let's get to conclusion. Since this is a only online buy game, we can't say that we can rent this game because you can't rent it.
So it's either buy or skip on this one, which is going to be really hard for us to decide. Now, let's start.
Actually, you start.
Yeah, I know. For me, this game is very fun. I mean very fun. For the Pokemon fan and all of us, it's pretty enjoyable because it's not like all the other repetitive Pokemon games with all the stats, items, and replayability factors that don't exist in the other Pokemon games. Well, from my perspective. But it's a very enjoyable game, and it's a break from what Pokemon has always been feeding us. So, in my mind, nice gamey details, very nice combat system, and of course, just really, really fun. This is obviously, in my mind, a buy. How about you, Snorlax318?
Well, yes, it is a buy. Because there is replayability and more Pokemon again after you beat the game once.
Which means you can get Palkia and Dialga, Darkrai, and all the other legendaries without
Except for Arceus, because he's not in the game.
Exactly. So, our score is buy.
Buy Pokemon Rumble now.
Tune in next time as we review Fossil Fighters for the Nintendo DS. This has been DJ Toons Gamers signing off.
See you later.
Bye.